In today's Leeds news, Leeds stance on Farke Future, Gnonto wins PFA Community Award, Leeds interested in fullback, and loose link to O'Hare. Morning folks, Cher here, Wednesday morning, the 1st of May, the first day of summer, and not a very bright day for Leeds fans as we come into today knowing that our automatic promotion tasks hang by a thread and a miracle would be needed at the weekend in order for Leeds to gain the final automatic spot. Coventry City not doing Leeds the favour last night that we hoped they would do, with Ipswich winning 2-1, and then has to be said, and it should be said, a massive congratulations to Ipswich, who have been fantastic this season, have gone about their job the right way with integrity and with class, have played some fantastic football, and Kieran McKenna's done a really good job. So congratulations to Ipswich on what looks like confirming automatic promotion. Leeds would need to beat Southampton on the final day of the season, and Ipswich would need to lose now to Huddersfield on the final day, which is increasingly unlikely, which is a shame. But Leeds will move into the playoffs, and we'll talk about Daniel Farke's future regarding this as well, and information that's come out over the last few days. And according to reports from Caught Offside, Leeds fully intend to move forward with Daniel Farke as their first team manager, regardless of what division the club are in next season. As we know from last night, and as I've said, Leeds will need a miracle on the final day of the season, but Daniel Farke himself has always shown optimism about Leeds getting into the Premier League through the automatic spots or through the playoffs, which for a very long part of this season looked like the route Leeds would need to take. Anyway, Farke will need to break an unwanted Leeds United record though and become the first Leeds United manager to gain promotion through the playoffs. Yesterday, LUFC Data shared a couple of stats that kind of highlights how tough a task this might be, but this stuff has to swing in our favour at some point, as stats and records tend to do so. Leeds haven't won a playoff game in Elland Road since 1987. Leeds last won at Wembley in 1992. However, if you remove the Charity Shield or Community Shield wins, Leeds haven't won in Wembley since the FA Cup final of 1972. And the third place finished team in the Championship have gained promotion to the Premier League 47% of the time, which is a stat that is in our favour, with that being the position that has gained the most amount of promotions in recent years. Leeds also have an unwanted record of being the first team to hit 90 points in a Championship season and not get promotion through the automatics. A lot of people complaining about Farke and Leeds season, saying it's a wash-off, they bottled it, all this, and I'm going to just say the word crap that's been floating around. A 90-point season in any other season, Leeds would have been promoted. You have a team at Leicester who broke financial fair play rules last year and this season to make sure that they got back up. The rules haven't been punished them. Leeds have done things the right way. And you've got Ipswich, who've been fantastic this season, who've gone up ahead of Leeds, look like they'll go up ahead of Leeds. So it's not all doom and gloom. 90 points is still a very good season. Not the season we wanted, but it's still a very good season and could still end up being a positive season in the next couple of weeks. Again, with all that said, the reports coming out of Elland Road at the 49ers are happy with the progress the club has made since the beginning of the season and are happy to move forward with Daniel Farke in place. After giving the manager a 4-year contract, they plan to see out as much of that as is possible, depending obviously on where we go from here. Failure to gain promotion to the Premier League, though, would see the inevitable sale of a couple of Leeds players, but not the fire sale that people are panicking about and talking about. I would recommend go back to the interview with Kieran Maguire, the football finance expert on this channel that we did with Or to Know Better a couple of weeks ago. Go check it out if you haven't watched it, which the bulk of people on this channel haven't watched it. My advice would be to go and watch that. It is not as bad as you think it is. The financial situations are not that bad. Paul Robinson's talking about point deductions and the world being on fire for Leeds. Carlton Palmer, the same, ex-Leeds players. Don't listen to a footballer about maths. Go and listen to a finance expert about maths. Kieran Maguire makes some very strong claims and said Leeds fans shouldn't be worried about staying in the Championship unless it gets to the 2026 season, which is the season after next. So it's not all doom and gloom. I would advise you to go and watch that if you want to just settle the nerves. A couple of sales for Leeds. This 190 million outstanding isn't 190 million outstanding. 72 million of that was paid in the last 12 months of that 190, and of that fee that was paid at 72 million that was owed, Leeds sold Rafinha and Calvin Phillips during that period for a combined 90 million pounds, which was received up front for both players. So that's already gone. So go check that out. It will explain why Leeds, the kind of money Leeds spent this summer and why they're trying to keen to get some players off their books going into next season. But as I said, I would highly advise you go and check that out. Moving on to some positive news, and Willie Gnonto has won the PFA Community Award for work involved in off-the-field activities in charity in local areas. Gnonto has been involved in a number of key activities through Leeds and through himself this season. One specifically focused on an educational fund which focused on equality, diversity and inclusion in education. Gnonto also shared experiences that he had as a young person. He's only 19, still very, very young, but shared his experiences to show young people that there is a pathway to sport through education as well. He's also been involved in some other charitable organisations, the Leeds United Children's Foundation, as well as Lynham Farm and the Leeds United Foundation as well. So a very busy boy off the field, doing some very, very good work for charities in the local area as well. A player that started the season not in the best of books for Leeds United fans, but this stuff off the field is very much welcome. It's stuff Marcelo Bielsa always try to instill on the Leeds players. Don't just be a good footballer, be a good professional, a good human. So it's great to see him doing that kind of work. Moving into rumour territory now, and the next two stories are rumours, but we'll clarify where they come from and we'll give you the detail on that. And the first one is Leeds are expected to recruit in the defensive areas this summer, with key players expected to move on. Liam Cooper, as we talked about yesterday, is expected to leave the club at the end of the season. Uncertainty around Charlie Creswell's future. Will he go on loan or be sold in the summer? Junior Firpo into the final year of his contract and could move on from the club, despite having a very, very encouraging season for Leeds this season. And Conor Roberts expected to go back to Burnley in the summer, although Leeds do have an interest in keeping him on a permanent basis. With all that said, Leeds are said to now be focusing on defensive reinforcements, and according to Spanish outlet AS, Leeds and Leicester have a firm interest in PEC Zwoll's centre-back Anselmo Garcia MacNulty. MacNulty is born and raised in Seville and came through the Real Betis youth system, although never made a senior appearance for Betis. He has, however, represented Wolfsburg in Germany as well as NEC Breda in Holland, and has been a regular for the Dutch side Zwolle in the top flight of Dutch football this season, making 29 appearances at the age of 21. As you can guess, the name MacNulty does suggest he can play for the Republic of Ireland and has represented the Republic of Ireland through various underage levels, and that is through his mother, who is Irish. The player himself has got interest from other clubs in him, with Club Bruges and Leicester also said to be keeping an eye on the player. He is highly thought of here in Ireland, especially at underage level. Whether it's a player Leeds will move for, it's an area that Leeds will look for. He can play centre back and can play left back, so it would give Leeds options in that position as well. Pascal Stroke expected back next season as well, and hopefully another positive season from him, for a player that started very well for Leeds this season before his injury. But Leeds will definitely need reinforcements there. MacNulty is into the last 2 years of his current deal, so this season will be a chance for Zwolle to make some money back on the player before he goes into the final year of his contract, and obviously the potential transfer fee at that stage becomes significantly less. And then moving on to the final story of today, and we are very much in the rumour territory here, so take this one with a massive pinch of salt. But according to The Sun, Leeds will look to add an additional number 10 to their ranks for next season. Leeds have relied heavily on Jorginho Rutter this season, and the player has been forced to play through injury before and after the most recent international break. Post-international break and post-operation, Jorginho Rutter has looked a shadow of his former self and has really struggled for form since the operation. It can't really be put on his door. Making a player play through injury and play directly after a hernia operation is a lot of expectation on a young player, and he clearly has been in pain for quite a while. You'll see him grab his hip or into his midriff quite a lot during games, but still clearly giving him some bother. But according to The Sun now, Leeds are amongst a few clubs who are keeping an eye on Coventry City attacker Callum O'Hare, who had a very, very impressive game against Leeds in our defeat to Coventry. The report says Leeds, Southampton and West Ham are all said to be monitoring the player, who operates in a number 10 role. O'Hare is out of contract this summer, and reports suggest that he is not expected to sign a new deal at Coventry and will leave the club at the end of this season. If you were to take him and put him side by side with Gio Rutter and how they compare to each other, O'Hare has played one less game than Rutter so far this season. He has scored 4 more goals than Rutter, with 6, Jorginho Rutter getting 2 in the league, and has produced 3 less assists than Rutter. However, in terms of possession lost in matches, O'Hare averages 10 turnovers per game, where Jorginho Rutter is in the higher percentage with 19.3 turnovers on average per game, meaning some are more, some are less depending on the game. O'Hare also averages 4 big chances per game compared to Georgina Rutter averaging 6 big chances per game. I think the issue for Leeds in that is very, very simple. Georgina Rutter is averaging 6 big chances per game, but Leeds aren't scoring 6 goals per game. Leeds will very much need to look at the striking options going into next season as well, again, regardless of what division Leeds are in. O'Hare's a decent player. He's a decent player and very much a decent championship level player as well. Be a very good player to bring in, especially to give Leeds more options. Like Leeds obviously missing out on Amiri last summer. Will need to look at bringing in a second number 10. They can't just rely on Georgina Rutter. And if the likes of Somerville move on from Leeds this summer, you could see Rutter move to a wider area where he played with Hoffenheim and get the benefit from him out there, which would free up the number 10 role for other players. Again, Willie Gnonto for me is a number 10. I just wish Leeds would see it, but currently Leeds don't see him as a number 10. But they will need reinforcements in those positions. Let me know what you think of the two stories, and a massive thanks to everyone, by the way, for supporting the channel. We hit 30,000 subscribers last night. It's mad. It's actually crazy to think in 2 years we've gotten to that mark, and I really appreciate everyone that supported the channel. And as I always say, agree or disagree, good or bad, I really appreciate everyone who has commented, got involved, liked, disliked any part of these videos. I really appreciate it. That's going to be it for me today, folks. Massive thanks as always for supporting the channel. I'll be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news, and I'll see you then. Thanks. Bye.